Hare Krishna. Question: if I join ISKCON, will I have to give up my material life even if I don't become a brahmachari? Answer: no. It's not about giving up material life, but it is integrating and harmonizing our material life with our spiritual life. That is what is required. So the key thing is to recognize that our goal of life is Krishna, because the International Society for Krishna Consciousness is meant to help us come closer to Krishna. So how do we come closer to Krishna? By committing ourselves to him. So that committing to Krishna can involve many things, and it involves certainly at one level investing a significant amount of time in directly devotional activities. There is study of scripture, association of devotees, there is chanting of the holy names, it's going on pilgrimages. But along with that, it also includes spiritualizing our material life. So sometimes in some places, some immature devotees may give the perception that to become a devotee means one has to renounce material life. But ISKCON is based on the example of the Bhagavad Gita and the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita. And the example in the Bhagavad Gita is of Arjuna. He did not renounce material life, but he devotionalized or spiritualized his material life. So that means the important thing is that whatever spiritual wisdom, spiritual insights, spiritual impressions we get by doing our directly devotional activities, we carry them in our heart, and then we use them to infuse a spiritual motive, a spiritual purpose, even in our worldly activities. So for example, if somebody is a student, the student definitely shouldn't give up studies, but student can study seeing that study as a service to Krishna. Yes, Krishna has put me in this situation, and by studying I am doing my duty which Krishna has given me, and by doing it for Krishna's pleasure, I am actually integrating my study as a part of my bhakti. So how do we do it for Krishna's pleasure? Firstly, we do it because it is what Krishna has put us in a situation to do, and doing that is essentially a devotional service. Secondly, if we are having adequate spiritual connection through our sadhana, then even our material life helps us to deepen our connection with Krishna. We understand that it is Krishna who is being so karmanatam abhyarcha siddhim vindati manava. Krishna says that worship that absolute truth, worship me through your work. So we study and excel in our studies for the sake of Krishna, and Krishna is satisfied even if we excel or we don't excel, because Krishna sees not the result, he sees the endeavor. And just working for Krishna's pleasure can give us a deep fulfillment, whatever we do. And that fulfillment and satisfaction is missing for those who are working just for the worldly results of success and fame. Beyond that, we also need to recognize that Krishna is our greatest well-wisher. He is the ultimate goal in everything that we do. So if I'm having a family and I take care of my family responsibilities, then I do it understanding that these are not just my family members, they're all precious parts of Krishna who have been entrusted in a relationship with me. So by serving them, by taking responsibility for them, I am going closer to Krishna. And in that way, we will all be able to spiritualize our activities. Now, sometimes it may seem that a devotee is giving up material life because a devotee gives up many of the frivolous activities that are standard in material life today. So for example, a devotee may not waste too much time in idle gossip, chit-chat, watching too much TV or reading too much newspapers, and going for mundane parties and things like that. But we don't have to equate material life with today's stereotype of what material life means. If we see what is considered as a fashionable or cool way of living today, that was not the way 50 years ago or 100 years ago in India, and that is not the way in many parts of the world. So there are material activities which weaken or wreck our connection with Krishna. So for example, there are the regulated principles: meat eating, no meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, no illicit sex. So these activities, if we do them, if we indulge in those activities which are discouraged, then that weakens our connection with Krishna. So devotees give that up. So now for those who are into these activities a lot, then for them it may seem as if the devotee is giving up material life itself. But the point is, the devotee is not giving up material life. The devotee is simply giving up a peculiar conception of material life which has become mainstream today. So a devotee can have a respectable and a feasible material life in terms of having a family, in terms of having a career, and pursuing the family and career responsibilities also diligently, but without necessarily conforming to today's stereotype of what a successful person needs to be. So devotees can be performers in their fields and even successes in their field in terms of their productivity, their competence, but they don't have to conform to all the things that go on in the name of being cool. So that does not mean giving up material life. There are people, they may be few, there are people who, because of their principles, they decide that we will, say for example, we will not be non-vegetarian, even if everyone else is around us is eating. And in today's multicultural society, although there may be a little bit pressure to conform, but over a period of time there is also respect for diversity and people are left alone, so to do what they feel is right. So there are people who are there are many people who live who have an active material life, but even within their material life they choose how they are going to live their material life. They may choose to avoid non-vegetarian food. There are even in society, few again, but there are people who are teetotalers. They refuse to drink, although they may be having their careers also. And people are respected for people. If people make this kind of choices, they should be respected for that. So they are respected in the sense that their individuality and their freedom of choosing how they wish to live should be respected. So same way with this also, as devotees, we shouldn't be neglecting or evading our material responsibilities in the name of devotion. That sort of thing is actually renunciation in the mode of passion or an ignorance, and that doesn't lead to spiritual advancement. So if some devotees have done like that, then we should know that that is not the right example, and we should look at those devotees who are having a healthy balance between their material and spiritual lives, and we follow their example, and that way we can grow steadily in our spiritual life. So becoming a devotee doesn't mean that we have to give up our material life. We simply have to give up, we may have to give up certain conceptions of what it means to pursue a material life. And we pursue a material life in Krishna's terms. That by doing our responsibilities, family, professional and various responsibilities diligently and competently, but integrating them within the framework of our Krishna Bhakti. Thank you. Hare Krishna.